stream. We are hopefully ready to get going. We're going to be learning some Godot and the Battlefield 6 portal editor in general. I had a quick look at this, like, just before Battlefield 6 came out. When I wasn't allowed to show you, like, testing in-game and stuff like that. But this is my first proper day of looking at it. This is the first time I'm really doing much with it at all. If I just run, I'm going to delete all of this stuff because it was me taking thumbnails, to be honest. Delete. Right, there we go. For some reason my chat on YouTube isn't working very well. I can see you in that one, so it's fine. I've got a monitor. My main YouTube one isn't working. Don't know why that is. But yeah, so we've got Godot up here. It's the one people are probably a bit more familiar with. I don't know why the resolution on this is a bit odd, but it's fine. It would probably make it a bit easier for all of you to see it. Yeah. This is Godot. This is the thing that you do level editing with. And then this is Portal, and this is what you do the sort of mode creation with. And we're going to be trying to sort of learn both at the same time. That's the idea. And hopefully do these as kind of videos. So, we'll see how it goes. So, if you want to make... Let's start again. If you want to make a map in Battlefield 6, or a mode, there's probably two things that you're going to be messing around with. This is Godot. To get Godot, you have to download it from Battlefield 6 Portal. So this is something that you can download from the website, just portal.battlefield.com, and then download SDK, and you download it, open it up, follow the instructions in the README, load up Portal, and this is what you end up getting. And then when you want to be controlling the rules of it, you want to be using Portal. You want to be using this, which is a web-based thing that you just do this. Now, both of these are quite complicated. Both of these, like, I mean, there's some simple stuff that you can modify if you want to. If you just want to modify, like, whether you're using vehicles or not, or what guns you're using in a mode, you can just do it with that. But if you want to be making some kind of cool custom experience, you really have to use this as well, which is a bit more confusing. I'm just wondering if there's a way to change the resolution of this. I don't know. It looks fine. So I've just loaded up Tungsten and this, which Tungsten is Mirak Valley. So you can see here it's got the sort of ruined building that you can sort of go up on top of. It's got, this actually is where the crane should be. I don't know why when you load this up the crane doesn't load into this. It's like the crane is something special that we're not allowed to play with. But the crane should be there anyway. And then you see all the buildings. Now, there's lots of limits to Godot, so before we get started, I should explain those. There's things that you can't do. Even, I mean, you can do them in Godot, but you can't do them here. So, first of all, you cannot modify what already exists. So, all of these assets, these buildings, these rocks, all of this stuff, you can't change any of that. That is one thing. It is assets, and it's just, or terrain, I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those, and it is just fixed. Like, you can't do anything with that. I mean, I can hide it. There you go, that's the terrain, and that's the assets. You can hide them, but you can't, like, really do anything with them. I couldn't be like, oh, I want to open up this sightline, so I'm going to delete this house or rotate it. You can't do that. The other thing you can't do is if you put something into the map, you can't resize it along one axis. So you can't make it just wider or just taller or just deeper. You can only make it bigger or smaller. It will let you do it in Godot, but if you do that, why is that like there? I wonder what that is. I wonder if that's like a special lighting thing. It's weird. It will let you do it, but it will not load up into the game when you do it, and that's a problem that I had before. So my mission, my job, my plan for all of this is to try and build, I'm going to try and build it over here somewhere where there's a lot of empty space. I want to try and build like a Helm's Deep type thing. So, like in Lord of the Rings, there's going to be one team defending a big old, like, castle-type structure, and then another team are going to be attacking it and trying to basically take a conquest point or, you know, like a breakthrough point in that castle. That's my plan. I don't know how long that's going to take me to get working. Maybe if I get it working and it hasn't taken too long and I'm enjoying it, maybe we'll start moving on to some other things like having breakthrough, where, you know, you capture one point and then that opens up the next point and so on. Maybe. But for now, that's it. And the first thing that I want to do is to experiment with, can I save a map file and load it up in the game with some small changes. So I think I'm going to try and change one thing at a time. So I'm going to try and put a couple of objects in the map and see what that looks like. And then I'm going to, and see, you know, if I can do that and how you do that. I'm going to try and change where people spawn. So maybe try and get people to spawn on this rooftop maybe. And then I'm going to try and change the bounds of the map as well to see if I can reshape those. Because if I can do those three things, then I can do a lot more, you know. That's it. Starting small and simple. Yeah. The Helm's Deep thing is like, I'm expecting that will be weeks away if I can do that. But we'll see. I have been thinking about it for a long while, so maybe it'll be possible. So let's start off with me trying to... Oh, actually, let's start off with what I've changed. So, I have already installed some plugins to Godot. That was using this video. What's it called? 7 Godot add-ons for Battlefield Portal map creation. And they recommend 7 things, so I've been sort of watching this to try and work out what we need to do.
The alignment tool lets you align the assets.
So there's an alignment tool.
3 different axes. We're spacing them evenly. Now,
so the alignment tool, I think, I don't know how you get these things, to be honest. But yeah, that is a thing. See, he's got everything looking much smaller. I don't know why. Do I need to go back into plugins here? Oh yeah, I need to activate these. So that just opened up in another window. But now, yeah, see, now I've got this alignment tool. Now I can align stuff like he just was there. Which is very, very cool. That's very, very cool. Yeah, I don't know why everything is so big. I don't know how to change things like that. Forward plus mobile or compatibility. Maybe there's an option. Project settings. Display window. I don't know. There's lots of things like this that I don't really understand. There's probably some method to do it, but I don't know. I might even just, can I just like, I think it's because it started off on in one window. Helm's Deep, Mark. That's the plan. Anyway, so yeah, going back to, I need to focus. I feel like I've got ADHD or something. Maybe I was just never diagnosed. So let's just watch the rest of this video of how to use these things.
This add-on is probably the most important one if you want to start making some complicated stuff. At the moment, all assets you place on the map are white, making it very difficult to see overlapping objects. With this plugin, you can recolor every asset so all are the same color, or you can recolorize every asset to be different colors. The third plugin is Magnet Snap. Using V by default, you can snap objects while moving them. Make sure to adjust the settings so it behaves correctly depending on the skill you use. The spacer lets you space objects on the 3-axis based on their anchor point, or based on their collision shape. You can also invert the axis and specify the range you want to work with. The Duplicator 3D lets you duplicate assets on the 3-axis. And like the spacer, you can specify the space between the objects.
See, these seem really useful. This idea that I can space stuff out along a thing. So if, say, I want to build a giant wall, I can build one section of the wall and then just use the spacer thing and the alignment thing to, like, then make it all work, you know? Seems useful.
Duplicate. Now let's go over 2 more advanced add-ons that help you place assets on the map a bit more naturally. But before you do this, don't forget to put a collision on the terrain. If you don't know how to do it, make sure you watch the beginner tutorial we've made, link in the description. The first add-on is the Proton Scatter. This add-on lets you scatter objects on the map.
I will have to follow this beginner tutorial.
A new Proton Scatter node in your scene and move it into the terrain.
Yeah, for sure, Fendi.
Then you'll need to specify which assets you want to scatter as well as its path. To find the
So we're going to watch the beginner
assets,
tutorials
you
and stuff.
Click on it and then copy path. Under scatter shape, you can change the scatter shape to spawn objects in a sphere or a box. In the Proton Scatter node, you can change the number of objects scattered as well as the seed, and you can specify if your objects should project on the terrain collision. You'll need to extract the assets from the tool itself, so they are separate assets that can be referenced by Portal. Go to General, tick Show Outputs in Tree, go to Performance, and then select Create Copies in the Render mode. Finally, make sure to delete the scattering nodes so you're able to export the map without any failure. And for the last add-on, I'll show you how to place assets with physics.
I don't think
As the
you
last
can
one,
put in
create
more than
a new
64
node with
players,
the add-on
as far as I
Asset
know.
Placer with physics, and place it on the map. You can drag and drop the asset directly in the Asset Pack Scene field. Add a collision shape to your asset. To help you visualize it, you can use the display lighting under the perspective dropdown. Replace and reshape it to match your asset. Once done, add an asset parent. It can be a new node or the map node. Tick the enable option. Adjust the spawn height as well as the max simulation time, and then press P to spawn the object.
See, that's quite cool, being able to drop stuff on.
Again, make sure you delete the asset placer with physics node. And that's 7 plugins to help you create maps on Godot for Portal.
Anyway,
You find it
let's
helpful,
go
and if
back
so,
to
don't hesitate
the
to
first
subscribe,
tutorial.
like, and if you have any questions, feel free.
How to create maps. Is that the first one? Maybe.
Hey folks, this is Benbit, and today I'm standing in for Matavatar to make the English voiceover for this video. I'm not a native speaker either, so please excuse any bad pronunciations and my accent. Going forward, I'll be reading his script from his perspective, and I hope you enjoy the video. Today I'm making a short video to teach you how to build your first map for Battlefield Portal using Godot. Before we start, a few notes and clarifications. I don't usually make tutorial videos, so I hope this will be useful to you. I was lucky enough to try
Hey,
this early,
Daredevil.
thanks to Ripple Effect and the Battlefield Studios, and I want to share what I learned, the basics of Portal map creation. This is my first tutorial on Portal and map building, so it may get updates later, especially if the SDK or workflow changes. Should that happen, I will pin a comment on this video, or if the changes are good enough, I'll make a new video and link it in the description. In this video, I'll cover the core basics to understand the tool. First steps first, if you haven't already, download the SDK.
Done
You'll find
this.
it in the description or on the Battlefield.
I need to
6
see. I need to
website.
take my time. I
Once
need to
it's
follow these
downloaded,
tutorials.
zip it
Otherwise, I
and
could
folder.
really ruin
The
myself
contents
with
should look
this, couldn't
something
I?
like this. 3 things matter right away. First, the README. It's packed with tips. A lot of what I say here is also in there, so I strongly recommend reading it. If the SDK or workflow changes later, that's likely where you see it. Next is the Godot project folder. Inside you will see subfolders and a Godot project file. I will show you how to use that in a second. There's also the
Yeah,
level folder,
you can,
which contains
Daredevil.
all the maps by codename, and an add-ons folder with Portal Dev add-ons. This is also where you can drop the custom add-ons I will share later on. Now let's jump in. Launch Godot from its executable. You will get a small pop-up. Now drag and drop the Battlefield Portal.Godot project
So I've
file
done all
into it.
this.
Click to open and it will configures Godot for battlefield
Done all
setup,
this.
also generate field portal map creation. When setup finishes, click Object Library. Here
Where's
you
the
can
object
browse
library?
all available objects and place them on battlefield maps. The library can take a moment to load, so please be patient again. Clicking Portal Setup also generates the asset thumbnails. Sometimes after restarting Godot, thumbnails disappear or every item shows the same thumbnail. If that happens, just click Portal Setup again. After the Portal Setup finishes, open a map, then click on Scene, Open Scene Level, then pick any code-named map, say for example Tungsten, and open it. Important
That's
note,
what we've got.
with the Portal SDK in Godot, we are not using Godot as a game engine itself. We are using it as a spatial editor to place things on the map, export them and use them in Battlefield in the Battlefield engine. By default, the map only has a few elements, for example the combat area. If I open it and click Collision Polygon, you will see the map's out-of-bounds areas. Editing is very simple. Drag the points to reshape it. In points you can delete vertices. If you want a simple 4-point area, keep 4 and make a square. You can shape the player area just around, say for example the construction buildings. You can also add points to refine the shape and...
Okay, shall we try doing that? We'll try following all the stuff they said. So, say if I get this and then, okay, I've got that and I want to go to points. And then if I delete all of the points after the fourth one, which is 3... And then let's just drag this here. So I want to see if I can do stuff like this. Let's make it a bit bigger so I've got that spawn in case something bad happens. But then like we'll tighten that up a little bit there. So now we shouldn't be able to go out of those. I feel like that spawn is still... maybe out of it. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that's easy. That's just changing the combat bounds, basically, the combat area. So it's the combat area node. And I think what's happening, like the way... and this is something that I don't think those Battlefield 6 Portal Hub things deal with very well, is actually explaining what's going on. As far as I understand it, all that's happening here is this is a polygon. And that's it, essentially. It's a shape which has coordinates. And the game will look for one that is called combat area. It'll look for a polygon called combat area. And then the game will interpret that as, okay, this is where the bound should be. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything particularly special about the way this works, if you get what I mean. I really want to... well, I might just save this. Save scene as MP Geeky Tut, and then save. And I'm just going to try closing this and seeing if I can reopen it and get it to launch in the right kind of resolution. There, that looks a bit better, I think, because it was all huge before. It looked weird. So drag that over there. That's fine. Yeah, this looks better, doesn't it? That looks better for sure. Oh yeah, that looks much better. There we go. And then it's also saved the thing. So, okay, I've managed to save. That's good. That's a step. Right, let's watch more of the tutorial.
And of course, move the whole area as needed. Next, static, the terrain and assets. This is a rough visual of the map, which is why rocks and terrain look low quality and many textures are missing. Right now you can't remove map objects or edit the terrain. What you can do instead though is adding 3D objects and gameplay objects. You will see Team HQ1 and Team 2 HQ. These are gameplay elements. To find more, go to Objects and then Gameplay. You will see categories like AI to spawn AI, add waypoints, etc. You can also see the Conquest Capture Point, or here is the Rush MCOM. I won't go deep into coding in here, but if you or someone on your team handles gameplay scripting for your mod, this is where you'll find the gameplay pieces. One key rule though, when you place an object in a scene, it must be a .tscn object. For example, if I want to spawn an Abrams tank.
See, I want to move these. So say that. I want to move that. Maybe like there. There we go, so no one's in the thing. I want to move that like there. And then this team. Maybe I'll move that to the other building. This is just me experimenting. I did this before and I feel like I couldn't get them to move. Well, I went way too far. It's super weird seeing like how they move in 3D space when you're doing stuff like this. But yeah, there is a way. One of the plugins that I got does let me do this with physics. It lets me sort of snap things onto the terrain. But to do that, you have to make a collision map, which I don't want to mess with that just yet. But that's okay. That's like something. Like they're only a little bit. If you spawn like that far over the ground, it doesn't matter. I don't think. So that's okay. Those are done. I've moved those.
You'll see both Abrams.tscn and Abrams.
Oh yeah, and there's the whole thing about how to spawn a vehicle in or whatever. So if I look here and I want to spawn something, let's maybe spawn, what should we spawn in? Oh, it needs to be the tungsten asset library. Something in here. A dump truck. Say if I spawn this dump truck in. I want this to spawn in. It doesn't need physics, so I'll put it like up there. And then if I... how do I change that? Transform. I think they should all be locked. So if I increase the scale by like 20, so we have a giant truck in the sky. That's maybe too much, isn't it? Maybe let's do it by 5. There's still quite a giant truck, so then I just want something obvious, so if I spawn in, that should be obvious. So I think this should work. So if I save this scene, and then close this down, I know I'm not very far in here, and that's naughty. And then I load this, and then I get rid of that, and I put in Mirak Valley, but I attach this. What did I save it as? That's not today's one. Okay, so I don't know how to export it. I don't think. Right, let's load it back up and see how the hell do you export the level. I am not making COD zombies, no. Thanks very much for raiding, Billy Sundown. Appreciate you. Did I watch the F1 yesterday? I did. I thought it was quite boring, really. The stuff between Norris and Leclerc was kind of interesting, but we are going back to... we are going back a little bit to Max's domination being a bit tedious. Just press... Oh, hey, Feality! You're the guy who makes the COD Zombies stuff. So, right, let's load this back up. This is the one I made with the truck. And then we press export current level. There we go, that's successfully exported. So then I go to export levels. There we go, that one. So that's on there. Teams, no bots. 2 teams. I'm not going to do anything first. I'm just going to try and save it. Learning portal. Yeah. Create new. Right, so that's saved. Now I have the whole thing of I've got to load up Battlefield and wait for it to populate. Sometimes it goes really quick. Sometimes it takes ages. I don't know why. Right, I'll try it. Save it before I change anything else. Yeah, okay. Save scene. Yeah, I'm learning this from scratch, reality, so I'm going to seem like a complete idiot compared to you. Like, what you did with zombie stuff was so cool. I was so impressed with, like, there being stuff like the Pack-a-Punch machine. That's, like, wild to me. But double check if it's still there. What's that mean? What, in Portal, do you mean? There, it's still there. Right, let's see. Let's see what I've managed to get. What? Since when is there a server queue? When is there a queue to get to Battlefield 6? It's a Monday morning at 9:30. What the hell? I see what you mean. Right. I haven't created any portal things. Waiting for this is kind of annoying. You had a server queue yesterday. I can't believe there's a server queue on Monday morning. I haven't actually played much Battlefield over the weekend. I played a bit off stream. Oh, I'm going to put my headphones on. I played a bit off stream on Saturday with our name gear and my wife. We played some. But I haven't really played any other than that. I've been playing Ghost of Yotai all weekend. Is it half term now? Oh, I thought it was half term next week. Is it half term this week, Shquiz? Oh. Are there that many kids playing Battlefield? Just waiting for things to load into this is kind of annoying. Like, if I was like a serious builder, like Fiality here or the people on Portal Hub, I would be so annoyed at this part of it. Like having to wait for the experiences to populate. Yeah, I thought half term was next week. It's normally like when Halloween is, but don't know. Oh, okay, it's different depending on where you are. I'm not gonna make the joke, Baron. I could make the joke. My partner's school. You shouldn't be going out with... I'm making a joke. You shouldn't be going out with someone who's at school. I get that, teachers. I was a teacher. I was a teacher for a long while. I haven't done any teaching since March. It's been a while now. Teachers need to take the frustration. In my experience, a lot of teachers do play Battlefield. A lot of teachers... I was surprised when I got into teaching how many teachers play video games. But the one thing is the teaching really gets in the way of playing video games. You don't have a lot of time. Except in the holidays. Or, you know, during a global pandemic, which is kind of what led to me streaming. I was talking about all of this the other day. It was weird. I had this surgery. Can you see here? I don't know if you can see that very well. I had this surgery the other day on my head. And I was talking to the surgeon while she was doing it. And there was like the surgeon and 2 nurses in the room. While she was like cutting out the side of my head, we were just all talking about how great the pandemic was for if you didn't get sick. It shouldn't take this long. Really, it has taken this long for me before. Right, check if I saved it properly. It says experience saved. If I go back to projects, it's there. Modify. Just double check it's got everything. It's still got that there. Yeah, I'm fine, Bowen. I had a mole removed. Nothing major. Although, it hurts more than I thought it would. Like, now I've taken off the thing, you can see, like, I've got, like, a scar. Like, I've got the cut there. And it's, yeah, more than I thought. You have to press publish before they show up in your experiences. Really? I haven't done that at all. Every time I've done it, it's taken this long for me. Well, no, not every time, actually. One thing I made showed up, like, straight away. Most of the time, it's taken ages. You watched Weapons last night. You understand Mark's reference to it after your surgery now. Yeah. Like, me and my wife had already been making that joke after we watched Weapons. That, like, oh yeah, was it just going to be done with a vegetable peeler? Someone gets their face peeled with a vegetable peeler. Oh, come on! Yeah, Jay, I know. Ba. You know, the other thing is, I haven't seen, there's like this vertical, the climbing thing. Well, I'm just going to search over experiences. There's like the climbing thing, what's it called? Verticality. That, like, they give you an example of in the SDK, and I haven't actually seen someone else doing it. Oh, is this a V2? They added something to this. They added something to this one. I'm going to host one of these. Host locally. This is the only up thing. I'm just going to play this for a bit while I'm waiting. I am going to be building maps. Yeah, Jamie, we've got Godot open. We are getting ready to do stuff like that. Vertigo, is that what it's called? I'll have a look in a bit. What's this one? Oh, this is a different one to the one that I was doing. Good luck. Oh, this is another one made by the same guy who did the other one that I did. This one starts a lot higher. How do you get back up to the start? Whoa, that's a bloody wall. How do you get to here? Do you have to, like, climb up the mountain? What? Is there a kill box? There we go. You played a mode last night where you climb buildings and fight other teams. Oh, cool. I want it. You've never been able to host a map? Yeah, that's a real problem at the moment. Like, it is a real problem, the whole hosting thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm in a minority here. I think at least for a while they should just disable XP on it. I know I'm someone who I don't care about progression as much as a lot of people do. I know they did it with Battlefield 2042 and lots of people saw that as like the reason why that portal mode didn't really do very well. This is kind of interesting. But I think there's so much potential for people to make interesting portal things that no one can right now because no one can bloody make a server and play multiplayer. Oh, okay, I landed back on that one, that's good. What is going on there? I don't know what Claude CLI is. I don't know what you're talking about. Why can I not get up there? I literally can't. Yeah. Yeah, because it was just done with the whole like scratch type thing, wasn't it? What? I mean, you literally can't stand on that. I don't understand. Oh, he's made it so it's disabled gadgets. That's kind of interesting. I don't understand how to get up there. Oh, I'm not interested in that another Jamie, really. I'm only interested in doing stuff that, like, I understand. That's something, like, where I think the Battlefield 6 Portal Hub thing, I think Hopefully they build, you know, they make their tutorials better over time. But there's a little bit of, at the moment with their tutorial, of just do this, oh, there we go. Just do this because this is the way you do it, rather than, oh my god, that's so frustrating. Oh. Oh. Right, let's back out of this anyway. I think you need to explain to people why you're doing it. Speaking as a teacher, you need to get people to understand why they're doing something rather than just doing it. Right, is my thing loaded now? No, what the hell? Maybe I'll try doing another one. What about if I add all of this stuff? I don't want to publish it, I just want to save it. Learning portal, geeky. But I'm just gonna make everything customs, then maybe that'll work better. Save. Yeah, it's always taken me it's weird. I've had some like this before that haven't loaded up, and then some that have, and it's always been a bit weird. Map rotation. No, zoom in a bit. There you go. Ran it. My webcam is probably over the top of it. There we go. That's what it says. It doesn't start with basic. I might just try making another one. Da-da-da, mode map rotation, Mirak Valley, delete that. That one. The climbing one's called Vertigo. Ew, I'll have a look at it. Publish, no, just, I want to just call it testing, portal, save. Look, now it comes up, and that's the old one, that's not the new one. That's like the old one that wasn't showing up for ages. That's so stupid. Oh. Right, let's see what worked and what didn't. Publishing takes days. Right, so what I changed was I should spawn on top of one of these buildings. The boundary box should be quite small, and there should be a giant truck. Giant truck! We're in business, we've got a giant truck. That's kind of cool. And we spawned where I wanted to spawn, so that's good. And then I should, if I go out here, it should be fairly strict. Yeah, there's the combat bound. It's pretty strict. I think I put it pretty close over here as well. Oh, why have I got a hammer? Boop. Oh, can I show you guys something cool? I was going to put this in my other video about little battlefield tips, but I didn't. But you know, if you're like looking through there and then you want to shoot, like you can't. You have to like pop up and pop your whole body on. If you've got a hammer, yeah, you can do that. I thought it would destroy the whole thing like it does with a wall, but it doesn't. It always breaks it just to the level you need to shoot out. It's still a bit glitchy, like you can end up shooting the rock, but it's pretty cool. And it works really consistently. Like, look, even if I'm standing up and then I look at this and I'm just like, look. How cool is that? But yeah, we got a giant truck. That's important. It's interesting as well that this crane spawns, even though this doesn't appear in Godot. Like, if I show you Godot, this is the map that we're playing in right now. Look, the crane doesn't actually appear in the level, which is weird to me. It seems weird to me. And when you do it in a local server, there's no rope to get up to the top. I find that weird. I think that's odd. But anyway. That is a nice detail. Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff, if you hit it with the hammer, a lot of stuff just gets... I don't know if this actually breaks. What was that? That's a massive can. Ooh, shinies. But these, look, you can literally just like, boop, boop, no, boop, boop. And it always just seems to be like kind of perfect to crouch on. I noticed this completely by accident the other day when I was making that tips video, and I was like, oh, yeah, look at that. Right, so all of that worked. Good. Right, close battlefield. Hey, Flynn. So, all of this worked. I managed to put a thing in. It's interesting, this thing. Why is this... Burp, burp. That was horrible. Why? How do you change the colors? There we go. It's interesting that, like, that appeared just completely white. How do we choose, like, textures or whatever? Is that not a thing we can do? It just seemed to be like a completely white dump truck. I should keep it on. Oh, I mean, it loads pretty fast, but yeah, maybe I'll do that in future. I just didn't want the background music on all the time, so it drives me mental. Right, I mean, I could just mute it. Would be easier, but oh well. Oh yeah, speaking of, let's put some nice, lovely music back in. What music shall we put on? Halloween music! Let's put some Halloween music on. It's very quiet. Halloween music, this is better. Right, so, that, to be honest, what we've already done is like half of what I wanted to learn today. The other part is how do you... The much more complicated part is how do you do an objective. So what I really want, again, I'll reiterate this for people who are just coming in now, is I want to build over here somewhere, I want to build like Helm's Deep. And I'll build a castle around here. There's like quite a nice like natural bit to build it here. I'll build a castle sort of thing around here and then have one team spawn outside, one team spawn inside, and the team outside have to try and get to a objective that's inside, a conquest objective, and if that team capture that, they win, and then I want to have tickets, so, you know, just like a breakthrough really. I just want to use breakthrough rules basically. That's it. But that's easier said than done. So let's change some stuff. So we're gonna go and delete that. We don't need that. Oh, you can just press delete. Right, let's move. Is that's team? Do. Right, we're gonna dump you over here somewhere. Come on over here. Is there a way to teleport something to your cursor's position? I feel like there is. Rather than doing this, because this is dumb as hell. I'm sure there's a short key that just puts stuff at your position. Right, there's the little people. Then I want team 2. You can't set textures yet. Boo. I even just using the default textures from the game would be fine. What are you doing all the way over there? Come back. If I do that and then that. No, wait, just that, and then I align them on... Which axis is blue? Z. No, not like that. Align them on the x-axis. There we go, that's what I wanted. Nice. But they need to be a little bit above ground. Perfect. Okay, that's fine. And then the boundary box. Maybe make that a bit bigger, like that. And then what else can I bloody put in here? All of the things are bust at the moment. I don't know how you get vehicles. It's not what you want. How do you get vehicles? How do you spawn a vehicle? Is it a vehicle spawner thing? Wait a minute, what if I put in vehicle? FX, vehicle spawner. Oh, but then I guess I'd have to... If I put a vehicle spawner there... Oh, that's a bit too high up, isn't it? There we go. We're in the gameplay folder. Vehicles. Oh, yeah, this is better. Let's get rid of that. And then say if I want to make a leopard. Oh, I don't know, but I need not the GD, do I? I don't want the GD one. Objects, that'll be better. Abrams, there we go. Would this be a usable vehicle, or is this just I'm sure one of those... Oh, I need the collision mass to do it. Anyway, I'll try and put that there just to see. Right, let's try saving this. And then we'll go back to this. And that one. Right, so that's worked. Now let's see what we can do. TSCN are the usable ones. Morning flip. Ba 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 ba. I don't really need vehicles. I'm more doing the vehicles because it's just kind of, I'm curious about how things work. I don't really care about putting vehicles in this one. Some things aren't that important. Do 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 do. Okay, well I spawned where I wanted to. There's a tank. That's good. See that? And then there's even water. And because I've extended the thing, look, you can go in the water. So imagine this, like you're fighting across and you gotta be like, oh, we gotta fight, we're getting shot at. There's smoke and stuff going off. I think this could be quite cool. And then you'll have the actual castle here. I think it's like a moat, you see? You get it? It's like a moat. I also think it's probably shallow enough that the vehicles might work in it. I don't know. I'm hoping eventually I can make it so you can also choose which side you want to play on. And the bots will still be able to act properly. But we'll see. Can this drive through the water? Oh, it behaves weird. This is cool. Like, it is working, but... Oh, no. No, it's gone. I mean, that tank definitely did blow up. Do 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 do. Right, let's leave the menu. Let's go back to Godot. What happens, just out of curiosity? Just out of curiosity. If I make this 3 times bigger than it currently is. Surely it won't work. Otherwise people would have done things. Because you could have a fun experience where you have one giant tank being attacked by like loads of little quads or something. And it would be amazing. Surely this won't work. Surely. No, it's just a normal tank. You cannot oh no, but it's got weird collision. Look at this. Its collision box is 3 times bigger. Can you see that if I walk up to it? The game's like, whoa, what are you doing? I kind of want to go near something and see if I crush it before I touch it. It's like it's got a force field around it. Look! See that? How everything's getting wrecked before it touches it. Because the collision box is bigger than the tank is. Uh-oh. That is not a good noise. Woohoo! It's behaving weird. Oh, is it going to go underwater now? I think so. It can't fire for some reason. Because I'm underwater, I guess. Well, that's weird, isn't it? I'm sorry, but your little periscope air intake is not enough. How scary would this be, having the tanks coming out of the water like this? It's struggling to get up this slope, for sure. Come on, you can get up there. I believe in you. Well, isn't that weird? That's a weird little interaction. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. Yes! Oh yeah, so it just can't... It's actually... That's weird. It's like programmed to not fire when you're underwater. Isn't that weird? Well, here we go. I find that very strange. So, I'm going to watch the rest of this tutorial video and see if I can learn how to... I want to be able to build... I don't need this ridiculous tank. I want to be able to build... a... No, sorry. I want to be able to build a conquest point that if those guys stand on it, they win the game. That's what I want to be able to do. But I don't know how to do that. Let's just mute that for now.
Abrams.glb. The .glb the terrain. What you can do instead, though, is you can shape the player editor to place things on the map, export them, and use them in Battlefield in the Battlefield engine. By default, the map only has a few elements, for example, the combat area. If I open it and click collision polygon, you will see the map's out of bounds areas. Editing in points, you can delete vertices, just the end of this is are missing. So is HQ, these are gameplay elements. To find more, go to objects and then gameplay. You will see categories like AI to spawn AI, add waypoints, etc. You can also see the conquest.
Well, the conquest one is there. Well, crap, that's the wrong thing. So, gameplay, conquest, capture point. Beep, 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 beep. There we go. We have a conquest point. Capture point. Now what I need to do is to learn how to hook that up with this. So we need it like if a player is standing in the right place, then if a player is standing near that conquest point, it will start winning the game. For now, I'm happy to have it so it's just if a person stands there, they win. Players on point. Maybe it's this. I don't know. I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you do this at all. How do you make it so... At the start of the game... Like, to be honest, I don't really know where you find the conditions for this at all. Like, I don't know, like, what slots into this. Maybe I'll have to just... Maybe I'll just have to, watch another tutorial of how to do that. I'll watch the rest of this first.
Point, or here is the Rush MCOM. I won't go deep into coding in here, but if you or someone on your team handles gameplay scripting for your mod, this is where you'll find the gameplay pieces. One key rule though, when you place an object in a scene, it must be a .tscn object. For example, if I want to spawn an Abrams tank, you'll see both abrams.tscn and abrams.glb. The .glb is just the 3D mesh reference. It's raw model and can't be added directly to the scene. Delete that and place the .tscn here. Abrams tscn, and boom, we've spawned a tank. About assets. Not every asset is allowed on every map. You will notice the library is split per map. If I'm on battery, for example, and try to place a control tower, it may show up as not allowed because that tower only exists on other maps. It's a limitation for performance reasons because the more unique assets you add to a map, the more expensive it gets. Because of this, they restrict the objects to ones already present on that map. However, there are several categories, and especially two, that are available across Sublime Instant and Go Basic, and that's pretty nice. First, now that we've covered Portal and the spatial editor, let's talk Godot basics. The first thing you might notice, when you try to place an asset, it floats in front of the camera, and that's pretty annoying. To fix this, go to Static, then Terrain or Asset, right-click on Editable Children, right-click the mesh, Editable Children again, in Terrain select Mesh, and then create collision shape as a static body child of mesh.
So what do? You go to Terrain, and then click on Editable Children, and then click on Mesh. And then what do? See, he does all this stuff that's like too fast and doesn't explain why. I don't like that.
Asset, right-click on Editable Children, right-click the mesh, Editable Children again, in Terrain select Mesh, and then create.
Okay, so you just do that twice for some reason. And then Terrain, and then click Create Collision Shape.
Create collision shape as a static body child of mesh. Finally, click Create to generate a terrain. In collision, you will see a new tri-mesh collider around the terrain. Now if I try to place my AI spawner, it snaps onto the ground instead of floating.
So now if I put this... It doesn't snap onto the ground. It just floats. It still floats. It's not doing anything. It's not snapping at all. It's not snapping. V. It's not doing anything. I don't understand this. Like, I can put it down like that, but it's just not... Maybe I need to put a new one down, so maybe I'll delete that one, and I'll put that one in. Oh yeah, then that is on the floor. Okay, that works. So new ones spawn on the ground. That's cool. Fine.
You can do this on assets too, but assets are a little bit more detailed, so generating collisions can take longer depending on your PC. Once it's done, we can place objects directly on map assets. If you are lagging or simply don't need a feature, you can also delete the collision to improve performance a bit. Next up, camera controls. Hold right click and move the mouse to look around. While holding right click, use WASD to move. Still holding right click, use W plus mouse wheel to change camera speed. Use Q and E to move up and down. Object controls, drag and drop to place. You can rotate, move up and down or left and right. The colored handle you're using is called the gizmo. Every asset has an origin point and the transform shows the numeric position, rotation and scale that match your gizmo moves. Important for Portal, if you unlock that little scale link and scale non-uniformly, the object won't walk and won't appear in Portal, at least at the time of this video. Keep the link locked and use uniform scale, all three numbers must match. You can still scale objects very large, they'll appear giant in the map, but keep it uniform. Next up, shortcuts. Ctrl plus D duplicates an object at its current position, so you will need to move the copy so they don't overlap and you can actually see the object. Shift plus G lets you place an object where your mouse points at your cursor, which is pretty handy to avoid having to use the gizmo.
So Anna, if I do Shift plus G, say if I do that. Oh yeah, see that's really useful. That's the shortcut I was hoping for before. That is super useful.
Next, press F to focus an object. Pretty useful if you've lost it in a scene somewhere. Also, the T key toggles how the gizmo behaves. When local space is on, moving the object also moves the gizmo orientation, which is great for relative moves. But sometimes, say you want to move it strictly to the right, that can be tricky in local space. So press T to switch or uncheck the local space and move it more easily along the world axis. To stay organized, you can also click the plus button and add a node 3D. This one basically acts like a group or folder you used to from our software. By default, it spawns pretty far away, so press F to find it if you're lost. You can also use Shift plus G click to place it near you, then drag your objects into that node to keep things tidy. That gives you a pretty clean group. To finish the basics, let's export the map. Before exporting,
what was that?
Click to place it near you, then drag your objects into that node to keep software. By default, it spawns pretty far away, so press F to find it if you're lost. You can also use Shift plus G click to place it near you, then drag.
And can you rename that to like objectives? Yeah, so there we go. So we've got objectives and capture point. That's good. We can move that around. I don't know why that box is like that, but still. Can I just... How do I move the anchor? There is a way to do that, I think. There's a way to move the anchor onto, like, the middle of the thing. I don't know how. I don't know. How do you move the anchor? Stuff like this just like must be super obvious for a lot of people, but it's not obvious for me. I don't know how to do it. There's some way where you can do it. But oh well, not for me. Not for me to know yet.
Drag your objects into that node to keep things tidy. That gives you a pretty clean group. To finish the basics, let's export the map. Before exporting, I recommend the example clean them up with toolplate if you have export.defined. And have any questions, hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time.
Right, so Battlefield 6 Portal, how to make objectives.
Let's dive in. You're building. From here, you can choose to edit an existing experience. Ready, which can take up to 3 hours during periods of high public game modes. Added, you can use your uniqueness, collect an experience, and drop in. Portal is your sandbox for exploring.
That's not useful.
So
let's try Battlefield Dad.
To this, my very first video guide to using the new version of Battlefield Portal that came
this is what I
with the
want.
new Battlefield 6 game. Now I know that some of you may well have already had experience of using Portal, and those people may have.
This is 40 minutes long.
You may be wondering where to start with your own latest tools. You choose Domination because most exciting features, scripting system, as well as looking at the new board. So let's get ready. Fire up port.the.com. Once downloaded, saying.
Oh, I know this stuff.
The files make sure to do that's make your mouse gonna go to the left open. I've organised mine into
chapters.
little test folder and official. Now these are the zoom in a little bit. There you go. This is the item that we're looking for. Now before I move this, we're just going to make one alteration. Placing items on the map. Let's just give you an example. So we're going to open up the object library. This lists all of the items that you can place on the map. We're going to open up capstone, which is just there. And let's just take a ammo chest. Let's drag a little bit once a moment so that the things that right click on the right click into have this. It's important when if we want that because we don't need it. And let's move these HQs a little bit closer to where they need to be. So because everything is grouped together under a single node, when we select the top item just there, we can use these little arrows to move it around. You can see everything will move as a group. So we're going to move this a little bit closer. We'll check whether we've got it close enough in a moment. I'm going to do the same thing. We'll just double click on team. This map area looks a little bit big to me. Now let's actually push it inside the combat zone. That would make a little bit more sense, wouldn't it? Let's move that one inside the combat zone. Let's double check where everything is now by here. So when we're adding items to the map,
here we go.
Looking for files that end in .tscn.
11 minutes before you get to the thing.
Add to the map, and I'm going to just search or filter through the files for capture points. And if we know the items that we're looking for, that makes our life a little bit easier. And you can see straight away under Objects, Gameplay, Conquest, we have the capture points. I'm going to drag that onto the map, and you'll see that it actually sticks to the ground rather than floating in the air. And that's one of the benefits to us having done what we did earlier, which is putting that mesh on the ground. It means the capture point is not floating in the air and we can place it wherever we like. Okay, so that's our capture point placed, and it's a really good idea to keep your nodes and your items organized. So we are going to rename this capture point A so that we know that that is the capture point that we've just placed, and we can give our other capture points once we place them other letters or even numbers if we want to. Anything that's written in here is really for our own reference and organization. It has nothing to do with the game engine, but obviously it will be really helpful to you if you know which objective or which capture point is which from your organizational point of view. Now, having placed the objective on the map, we're just going to turn our attention to the inspector over here. And we've got a number of options that we can set for the capture points. We're not going to go through all of these items on the list as it is just an introduction, but I will have a special mention for a couple of these items which are quite important. So we can toggle the capture points on and off in terms of whether it's enabled or not. And obviously, if we click to disable it, it will not be visible on the map.
So you make it, so you can control some
We're going to
game
make
stuff
sure
in
that
there.
both of our HQs are enabled, and you can alter this through the code as well dynamically. It does have an initial owner. We are going to set this capture point to be neutral. So when the game starts, nobody will hold any of the capture points. But of course, if your game mode eventually involves having other teams, you can initially set the owner of a capture point to be a particular team. We're not going to bother about the flagpole size because at the moment it doesn't make any difference, but we are, and I'm just going to slow down a moment to focus on the object ID. Now, the object ID is a very important property because it is what allows us to connect the code in the scripting part portal to this particular object in the portal editor or in the spatial editor. We also want to make sure that all object IDs are unique, and at the moment I do think we've used some other object IDs because they do come as default, so we need to check. So the Team 1 HQ has been given the object ID 1 and the Team 2 HQ has been given the
What the hell is that?
ID 2. And I think maybe for the capture points, maybe if we start from 100. So for our domination mode, we'll have object ID 100, 101 and 102.
Wait, what's he talking
Makes it
about?
nice and easy, given the object ID 2. And I think maybe for the capture points, maybe if we start from 100. So for our domination mode, we'll have object ID 100, 101 and 102. Makes it nice and easy for us to remember what the objective IDs were when we come to code. We're just going to leave all of these items as they are. We're not too worried about those for this, but we're also going to focus on these three things just at the bottom because these are also very, very important when setting up the capture points. We have the capture area, which we are going to do first in a moment, and then we have the spawn points for Team 1 and Team 2. Let's set up the capture area on the outside of this capture point. So a capture area is made up of a polygon volume item. And in order to add that to this item, make sure you have the capture point selected in the scene on the left hand side. And then we are going to right click and add a child node. Now the child node that we are looking for is a polygon volume. So we've got polygon, spell it right, polygon volume, just there. Now obviously I've used it before so you can see it here, but we can find it also by searching.
Oh, there we go, that's fine.
Then we are going to click create. Now the wonderful thing is if you had the capture point A selected, this has now been attached to that and we can move it wherever we want around the map. We can also make some alterations to the shape of this, so we can stretch out the collision point area. We want to make this larger.
Okay, that's pretty good. Not too bad, James. Learning.
Area or whatever we want. We can also do the same as we did for the combat area. We can click on the points in the polygon volume and we can add or remove more points as we need. So we've made this a little bit more of a complex area. Again, you might want to have a think about what shape you want for your particular capture points. And you can spend a little bit of time designing and thinking about where these might be positioned on the map. But for the sake of this video, that seems perfectly acceptable. There is one more a very important step to take with this particular outer polygon volume for this capture point. And this is very important because without it, your capture points will not work. And we need to alter the height of the capture point. It looks like it's quite high, but by default the height is set to 0 and that will not trigger any action when somebody enters it because it's not going to detect them in capture points. I'm going to set the height to 20. It's quite tall that actually, so let's just reduce that a little bit. It looks a bit out of place on the map. I think we can get away with maybe just 10. That's high enough. It's worth pointing out, by the way, this color is just what it looks like on the editor, so you can see what that looks like in the map. Right, that's our first capture point added. We're just going to add some spawn points because obviously what would a capture point be if it didn't have any spawn points. In fairness, in domination, you don't necessarily need to have spawn points because in most versions of domination, most players either spawn from their HQ or randomly around the map. But let's add some spawn points just so that we've got a complete picture of what's going on. And obviously then you can later adapt this to something like Conquest if you want to. So to add spawn points to the capture points, again, make sure you've got the capture point A selected because we want to make sure that these are nested inside. We are going to type spawn points, and there we go. We've got this entity just here. Make sure, by the way, that you're selecting the TSCN. These are nested inside. We are going to type spawn points, And there we go, we've got this entity just here. Make sure, by the way, that you're selecting the TSCN file, not the GLB or the GD. This is the little scene file that contains everything you need to know. And we are going to drag and drop that item directly onto the map. So that's our first spawn point. Let's add another one, and maybe one more as well. And we can position these and rotate them as we see fit. Right, I've just noticed that as we drag them onto the map, you'll notice that they did not get included in this little node collection for catch point A. I don't like that because we want to keep these all grouped together. So we're going to left click on the first spawn point, we're going to select all the items, and we are going to drag them in so that they are grouped under capture point A. So again, we're just going to do a little bit of tidying up. Good practice in our collection of items here. You don't have to, but we will call this spawn point 1A. We'll call that one spawn point 2A. So I'm just double clicking and renaming. And we're going to call that one 3A and that one 4A. I'm not going to spend too long on that again for this video, but obviously calling these or giving these appropriate names is very helpful for organization later. So we've just got a couple more things to do before we finish this.
See, this is good. I'm learning stuff.
And with the scene on the left-hand side, we select the capture point, or at least make sure it's got selected. We're just going to go back to the inspector for this capture point again, and we are going to assign the spawn points we just added to the map to this particular capture point. So we're going to click on the array spawn point just here next to team 1. We'll add 4 to it, and we will click on assign. And let's assign each of these spawn points to team 1. Now obviously we can mix and match this up if we want to. We're just going to go straight down the line with each of these spawn points. We're not going to play around with it too much. And we're going to do the same for team 2 as well. We're going to assign the same 4 capture points to team 2, and they'll be enabled when that team owns that particular capture point. Let's go with 3. There we go. And that pretty much completes our single objective. So the wonderful thing is that now we have completed this first capture point or objective, we just need to duplicate this and make some small adjustments to get all of our additional capture points to the perspective view and to top down with this map before we export it. It's something called a deploy cam, and the deploy camera is the actual camera that shows that top down view of all of the objectives when you spawn in. That's going to be really helpful to make sure everything looks professional and is ready to go. So just over here on filtered files, we're going to type in deploy. I spelled that incorrectly, so deploy cam. And there we can see under gameplay command this deploy cam TSCN. Just going to drag that onto the map. Now, in actual fact, we should be able to position the deploy cam quite nicely and get a different view of the map below, but at the moment it's slightly broken. So rather than spending too much time positioning the deploy cam right now, at the moment I think the only way to get this to work is to click on the transform just there and rotate it so that it is set at -90. So just basically so that it is gameplay command this deploy cam TSCN. Just going to drag that onto the map. Now, in actual fact, we should be able to position the deploy cam quite nicely and get a different view of the map below, but at the moment it's slightly broken. So rather than spending too much time positioning the deploy cam right now, at the moment I think the only way to get this to work is to click on the transform just there and rotate it so that it is set at -90. So just basically so that it is pointing straight down. Let's just check that that's the case. Now ultimately you should be able to position this anywhere, and you should be able to rotate it and get different views of the map, which would be really interesting because we could focus right down in on this particular objective. But at the moment, because the camera isn't working the way that it's intended, that's exactly what we're going to do. Just position it anywhere. It doesn't make any difference at the moment. So just as I was about to finish off this video, and this is how fast things are moving with Portal, very good friend of mine, Andy from Viper Studios, and I will put a link to his YouTube channel on the top right hand corner of the screen, got in touch with me, and he said he had worked out how to add the capture points letters on top of the capture points, and also in the process, as part of that, we can also now outline the outside of the combat area. And I thought that it was worth just inserting that into this video now. So if you're watching this, this is an additional section that I've just added in the middle of this video, but I thought it was really worthwhile because it's really going to finish off this particular mode. So to do it, it's simpler than we actually thought, but this is how it's going to be with the new portal. If we search in the file system for the sector item, and we drag the sector item into the collection of items up here on the left in the scene, you are going to find that this now has some options in it that might help us set this up. I'm going to switch off the auto enable vehicles. I'm going to give this sector object ID. I'm going to call this 200. To be fair, we're not going to mess with any of this in this video. I thought I really wanted to get this in the video before I'd finished it and put it out. But you can see just down here, we can set up the sector area. Now, this is the important part if you want the combat area to be highlighted on your map. All we do is click on assign the sector area, and we go with this video. I thought I really wanted to get this in the video before I'd finished it and put it out. But you can see just down here, we can set up the sector area. Now, this is the important part if you want the combat area to be highlighted on your map. All we do is click on assign the sector area, and we go and look at the combat area and assign the collision polygon 3D for the combat area to this outer sector area. It's not going to look like we've done much on the map, but trust me, that's going to be the finish for that combat area that you're going to need. In addition, we are going to add the capture points to this as well for this sector. Add our elements, and once we've added an add capture, that's all we need to do. We will now on the map see each of those objectives within the sector will have been labelled with an icon A, B and C, as you will now see in the replacement video at the start of this particular guide, and it will now show you the edge of the combat area on the outskirts because this new sector addition highlights that on the map. Awesome. Thank you very much to Andy for helping me complete this guide. It was really frustrating. Right, let's get back on track and get back to the video as we stand. So now we're finally in a position to save the scene and export the data so that we can pass that over to the Portal web builder. But there's one final thing we need to do before we do that, and if you've been following this video all the way along, you will remember that right at the beginning I said that we will need to remove these items from
I might have just broken it
before we export it. If you forget to do that, it's not the end of the world. You'll just have to come back in and do it and export it again. You'll get some kind of error telling you that the file size is too big in the Portal editor, and hopefully that will remind you to do this. But we're just going to remove these items so that we can export this safely. So the first thing is we are going to remove this collision shape 3D.
Yeah, he's explaining stuff a lot more.
Static body, because we can get rid of that now. And we're going to right click on mesh, and we're going to click on editable children to get rid of that bit. We are going to right click on the terrain and editable children as well. I suspect there's probably a faster way of doing that, but that works. Now we're ready to save the scene and export it. Scene, save scene. The scene is saved, and let's export the current level. And once it's done, that gives us the JSON spatial data that we need to import into the Portal web builder. Right, see you in a minute. I'm just going to open up the Portal web builder and let's get this data in. So here we are once again back in the Portal web builder, and we are going to click on the create new experience button. We're going to go straight into Portal custom because after all that's what we're learning all about. And we're going to click start editing. We're not going to mess around with any of the mutators, but it's worth bearing in mind for your mod. You can of course alter whatever mutators you want. There's a ton of options in there. This is not the video for that. We are going to go straight into map rotation. So the map that we want is Liberation Peak. I know that in the editor we selected Capstone, but that is actually Liberation Peak.
I think they should change that, like the code names and the real map names.
This one, this domination experience, new spatial data.
It's quite a small thing, but...
And that is uploaded and ready to go. We're just going to go into modifiers for a moment, and under gameplay, just down here, we are going to select the default custom 2 teams scoreboard. We'll come back to that later on in another video just very soon. We're going to set up the scoreboard, but we are going to go straight into the rules editor from there.
This is what I
So
want.
here we are in the rules editor, and we are not going to use the blocks for this experience. We're going to explore the new script editor.
Oh.
But for anybody that is new to Portal and hasn't used the blocks before, anything that is driven in the game, anything that happens in the game is triggered by a rule, and that rule has an event attached. You can see there are all kinds of events that can trigger things. So for example, when somebody joins the game, or when somebody enters a catch point, that might be important, or when somebody exits a catch point. So these are the kind of things that we want to trigger. We're just going to, in this video, enable the catch points, and we're going to go into the script editor to be able to do that. So in the script editor, you've got two options on the left-hand side. You can create a new script file or a strings file. We're not going to do the strings file today. We're just going to click on the script, and we can start typing straight away into the script editor. And of course, if you don't want to do any of the programming, I'm just going to provide the template for you. But part of this whole experience is learning how to write the scripts.
This is a bit more intense than I thought it was going to be.
Type them out yourself, because once you've done it once, it sticks in your mind a little bit more. So let's write this first function, or this first event that we want to happen in Portal right here. So export async function on game mode started, like that. Open and close a bracket and put a curly brace just there. Well done, you've just written the header for your first function. Right, the first thing we need to do is get the capture points that we want to enable and set up. So we're going to take advantage of the power of JavaScript or TypeScript by typing let capture point A equal, and we're going to use the command mod.get capture point, and then in the brackets we are going to put the object ID of that particular objective that we saved in the spatial editor. And if you remember what that was 100, and I've just spotted a spelling mistake there, which is a mod there. So we are going to get the capture point with the ID of 100, and we are going to save that in the variable called capture point A. The next step is to make the modifications to it to enable it, and there are a number of functions available to us to enable and modify capture points. We'll run through those now. We've got mod dot, and you'll notice that as I type in the commands, this wonderful online editor actually helps me along by giving me all the commands that are available. And sometimes if you forget the command, it may well be just listed straight away there on the list. And the one that I'm looking for is enable capture point deploying. I think that's the one I want. And if we click tab on the keyboard, it just auto fills that in for us. So we're going to enable capture point deploying on capture point A, and we need to set that to true. So that is the command to enable capture point deploying. Let's run through all of the others. Mod dot enable game mode objective enables it, shows it on the screen.
Distracted from it and haven't gone back to it, which is a real shame.
Already in the editor.
You know, typical.
We set it to enabled already in the editor, but this is just to make sure that it is enabled as it should be. Let's move on to the next line. Then we're going to set the capturing time. So mod dot set. Let's have a look, see if we can see it on there. We can't quite see it yet. So set capture point. There we go. Set capture point capturing time. We have to pass what the capture point is. Capture point A. We're going to set it to, well, let's set it to 10. That's how long it takes to capture.
10 seconds.
So the next one we want, mod dot set capture point neutralization time. Set it on capture point A and set that also to 10 seconds. And then last but not least, mod dot set.
Somebody who knows JavaScript better than I do, is there a shortcut when you are typing in brackets to get out the brackets? Is there something you press on the keyboard? Because at the moment I have to just you just use the arrow keys to get out. But it'd be nice if there was just a button you can press to skip to the end of the line. Is it like end or something? So if I'm like in there, if I press end. Oh yeah, end does it. Okay, end literally does it. Okay, I've solved that for myself. Hooray.
Max capture point multiplier. I have to say we want to set it for capture point A, which was where we saved it in that variable, and we will just set that to 1 for the sake of argument. So it's at that point we're going to stop and we're going to just test and check out our work in game. So we're just going to save our experience by clicking save. We're going to give it an appropriate name, so we'll call this one Domination Part 1, and we are going to click the Create New button. It's just worth...
Right, let's see if I can do this. And, you know, tab just makes like a gap mark. Tab just like puts in like a gap for you, like it does in Word or whatever. Oh, so I have got the camera. That's cool, that worked. Okay, I'm spawning. Oh, look at that! Capture point A! Capture point A. This is going pretty well. Like, I know it doesn't look like much, but it's like in terms of game logic, this is like pretty... This is pretty big accomplishment for me. Because like designing the level and like, you know, putting the actual objects in and stuff like that, that's like a separate, that's a separate thing. No, I don't know if it will have the outline. I don't think it has the outline on the ground. I don't know how you do that. See, I am capturing it, but it doesn't have the UI stuff. You can see it on the map, the bounds. You just can't see it on the floor for whatever reason. Doo-doo-doo. And I basically want to set up the visual code, so if capture point A is captured by Team 1, then the game ends and Team 1 wins. Hooray! I know that seems so basic, but that is what we want. That's something. So the next thing is to, can I do... Can I do that? Is win victory Team 1. On capture point captured. See, I don't know what you slot in here in the conditions bit. It's really annoying. Oh, condition, probably. Then what do you do? You don't put that in there. You do it in here, I guess. I don't know how you work this out. Yeah, but that's not what I'm trying to do, Jay. I just want to see like all the stuff that can go into there. Equals. So you need like a logic bit. So I need equals. Something like that. So if the condition equals capture point $100, Current owner. No. How do you get current owner, team? How do you get a team? It's not that. This interface is horrible. I really don't like it. So team. Team. Use event capture point. What are you talking about? What's that mean? What? I literally have no idea what you mean by saying that, Cassian. Use it where? For what? In place of what? Use event capture point. I've got on capture point captured. And then I've got a condition. Equals, I've got get capture point. Is there one here? Search for event capture point. How do you search? Oh, there is one. Event capture point. So I put that there. That doesn't work. Oh, there we go. That worked. So event capture point, then action should be to set. I want it to be like a victory. End game mode. Is that? It's an end game mode? But end game mode what? What's that? Why does that say? Why is there a gap in action? End game mode, team winning ID. Oh, there we go. So you put get team. So I need get team. And then that should be team 1. Oh, this is useful. Output event player, get team. And then I just put a literal in. I don't know if that will actually be team 1 or if it'll be team 0 of the way that works. But anyway. Right, let's try saving this. So now, I think it should be when that capture point is captured, because that is capture point 100, isn't it? Yeah, capture point 100. Yeah, that should all work. Right, let's try it. Let's try it. This would be a miracle if this works. Let's see if this works. That little help thing is very useful. I should use that more often rather than just randomly clicking on things. I don't like that when you're using that in a web browser, your mouse wheel does something different depending on where your cursor is. So if you're This should kill you, just jumping in water and with paddles. If you're... If you're... What was I going to say? If you're hovering over the blocks, then it zooms in and out. If you're off the side of it, then it goes up and down. It's like, it's super confusing. I think it's super confusing, anyway. Right, so I should just have to wait 20 seconds. Then in theory, this should end the game and say I won. If I did this right. But I don't know if I did. Right, let's see. What? Well, I feel like a goddamn prodigy right now. What? How long have we been going? We've been going, like, not even 2 hours, and I've already done way more than I expected to. Right, the other thing is, Team 1 should have tickets. Team 1 should have tickets. I don't know how to do that. So, on game mode started. Condition. I don't really want condition, but I do want... What are the other blue things you can use? See, look, why can't I scroll up here? It's so annoying. So annoying. You can scroll up there, and then you can scroll up there, and then that goes in and out. It's so confusing. On... Game mode started. This will trigger at the top. So I want to set... I don't know what conditions I want. I just want an action. Do I need a condition? Because I just want to set... You can't set tickets by like that, so it's something else. Lives? Like, what do they call it? I want it to set like... Set game mode target score, maybe? Oh, what's happened, Philip? So get team, and then I just use a literal, a number, so it's 2. Oh, so I could do this and then set that and then be like, okay, we're gonna give them like 400 tickets. And then we could add another rule. Remove ticket. On player died. I think someone just knocked on the door. Wait a second. Just had a fun little social interaction there. I was like, what's that through the door? So I went downstairs and some campaigners from Reform had put a leaflet through my letterbox. So I opened the door and went outside in my bare feet and stared at them. And they saw me staring. And I stared at them while I put the leaflet straight into the bin. Bloody Reform. What is the world coming to? So an event on when player died. How do we do this? So event player. Conditions. I don't know what you do with this. Oh, I need condition. Why does that not fit in there? Equals what? So victim, the killer, and then death type. No, I need team. I need the team. I need to do it so... How do you make it so someone loses the ticket? How do we do this? Or maybe even... On player earned kill. Event team. What's that mean? Oh, so if the event player is on a team, maybe, let's say. Team, and then I put... So the killer, if the killer was on team 2, then... Oh, God, I hate this interface. Score... How do you change score? I don't want to set it, I want to change it. Oh, I could just do -1, couldn't I? So I could just do that, and then... Team 1, and instead of doing that, I'll do a -1. How do you do that? Can you do like minus? No, I don't want to set it to -1. I want to just remove 1 from it. How do you do that? Math. Subtract. How do you use subtract? This is so confusing. So I think that's it. So then I'm setting the score for Team 1 to whatever their current score is, -1. I think that should work. If someone's receiving threats and bullying, that idiot seems taking shifts, had to remove his access to certain apps. So social media is horrific. Right, and then I need to do win victory for Team 2 is a score thing. So just ongoing, really. Condition, no, get rid of that, get rid of that. So if that equals, and then a number, zero, then Team 2 wins. So that should work. So that's just basically saying, okay, so Team 1 will win if they captured a point, but Team 1 also has 400 tickets, and if the tickets get to 0, then Team 2 should win. I think that should work. I don't know how to display that. I don't know how you display the UI. Because obviously I want to be able to see how many tickets they have. So could I do that? Add UI text. And then I need the name. Tickets. And then the vector just has to be location. So they've said 5150. Oh, I really hate this. Vector. $50, $150, 0. I don't know what that means, really. The size, they've done 440, whatever the hell that means. I don't know if this is going to be at the top or I don't know where it's going to be. I mean, I know those are coordinates, but I just don't know what they, like, mean, basically. UI anchor, so I can do UI top center, that's where I want it, and then should be the message. And then I can set those on the team. So I can put this, it's only on team. message is that. God damn it, how do I put... So it's a message. I'm hoping this will work. I don't know if it will, but we'll see. So the only thing that should really be different on this is that it should have a thing up in the top middle saying how many tickets I have left. Crap. Well, that's not good. me. Okay, so it ended immediately. Why is that? Why did it end immediately? That's not good. So if the game mode score for team 1 is 0, then it ends. But the game mode score should be at 400. If I just get rid of that to see if it is the game mode score thing. All of this stuff is like less important right now, I think. It had obviously decided to check that as score. It's still doing it. Why is it doing that? Why is it saying victory straight away? Well, it's still doing it. That's weird. So it wasn't that. But that worked before. Why is that winning straight away? Well, I'll be back in a second. So, anyone any idea why it's winning straight away? Why is, when I load it up, do we immediately win? If I just take that out and save it. Also, why doesn't this have an admin menu like the Battlefield 2042 one did, so you can just restart it? What is going on? What is going on? Is it something to do with the set game mode score? Right, let's just take all of this out. Let's just save it all. I'm obviously not understanding something that I've done. Let's just go back to where it was before I started messing with that. Also, how come when you're hosting locally, you can't just restart the server? Well, as far as I can tell, you can't. Okay, so now, okay, we're back to this. We've got the capture point. That's all good. Yeah, why is there no... Why is there no way to restart the server? Is there not an option to do that? Oh, I'm subtracting -1. Oh, yeah, because I'm subtracting. Do you think that could be it? Try. Let's see if that fixes it. But also, why can't I do that? Battlefield 6 Portal admin menu. I don't know how to do that. At least I worked out how to show something on the UI. That was good. Although it shouldn't say 100, should it? Why does it say 100? No, it wasn't the -1 thing. And why does that say 100 actually, instead of 1? Let's just leave this one bit in. Because then I can work out which bit it is that's causing the problem. Okay, so it's not that one. So it's not that win victory. Good. Is it this one? It's that one. Okay, so it's that bit. Let's have a look at what we've said in there. What about that? So it's not this one. It's that one. So set the game mode score. 1/400. It's got UI text. I don't think the UI text matters so much. Set game mode score. It seems to have like a default thing of so basically what's happening is when I start it, it sets the score to 400. And I don't think you're meant to do it with score. Because it seems like somewhere I must have done... Somewhere there must be a thing that's like when you get to 100, one team wins. I think. Okay, well I can worry about that some other time. That doesn't matter too much. I can worry about that another time. I'll leave that for now. At least I know what it was. Right, we can go back to Godot now. So what I want to do is start making the fort. So let's add a new node. And this is going to be called Fort. And then on the terrain, we're going to do this. No, not that. 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 Mesh, create collision shape, static body child, create. So we've got the collision shape just so we can snap stuff to it. And then we're going to make our fort, which is a more exciting bit. I don't know why these are the way they are. Apparently if you click this, sometimes it redoes that, so I'll try that. It takes a while though. How's everyone doing in chat? I know this might not be seen as the most thrilling thing in the world. But I think it's interesting, personally. It's taking a while to do whatever it's doing. There we go. Wait, what's that? Finishes. You're invested in it. I mean, it's definitely not going to be done today. This is definitely the first day. I've achieved more than I thought I would. Yeah, this is just the first bit. Hey, Findley. There we go. We got all the bits now. So, what do you think I should make the fort out of? Barrier stone seems like it makes a lot of sense. That's more destructible. See that? Is that even touching the floor? There we go. So if I want to duplicate that. Oh, and these need to go into, not into there. Right. These are going into fort. What is that like? Right, and then there's something you can do where you like select them and then space them. X gap. I don't really know how these work. I also don't know how big these are going to be compared to your average person. Maybe if I just get a spawner. That's pretty good. That's a bit too big. That's pretty good. I don't know if this is actually doing anything. Because the magnets snap, I want it to, like, not overlap, but I want them to be close. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make the snapping. Like, I've got snapping on. I can turn that off. Suppose I could just do it like this. And then... Why are they doing that? I want it... I want it to... translate in a... I don't want it to go in that way. Oh, I want it to go that way. It's just a visual glitch. Okay. Why is that missing that one? What? Okay, so say if I had that wall. I just want to see what this looks like in the game. So we're going to go back to VF Portal, Sport Kernel. Oh, and no, because I've got the collision thing in it. Oh, it's so annoying that you got to delete the collision thing every time you do this, otherwise it takes forever. That's really annoying. Also, what would happen if I deleted everything else? I don't want that. What would happen if I deleted that? Because I don't want any of that. Right, can I just save? Oh, I've done it again. I've saved it with the whole thing. Like, if I delete all of this, will that be better? Can I delete all of it? I don't know. I don't think so. I can't imagine it would let you delete all of it. But anyway, I don't need that little AI spawner. I just put him in for scale. And I hope there's a quicker way of doing this. Right, let's export that, import it into this, save it, go back into Battlefield, community, my experiences. Let's see if we have a wall. If we do have a wall, I might stop there and then tomorrow we can like build the fort. I also need to work out like what's destructible and what's not and stuff like that. I don't know why there's a big pole over there. Okay, so it's not loading in if it is there. Oh, it's in the water. It is loading in. But it's like... it's here. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? I mean, other than the fact that it's underwater. That looks pretty good. You can't climb onto it, which is kind of interesting. But at least I've managed to get it into the map. But I think it's interesting having, like, little differences in it. You know? That's interesting. Yeah, I need to work out what makes something destructible or not and things like that. Yeah, I didn't expect that to be in the water. I want it to be on the land. So we're going to have to go back to that. So this, now we can move the fort. Luckily, we can move the whole fort. If I could work out how to make the anchor go where I want it to be, which it's currently not. I'm sure I worked out how to do this before, how to move the anchor. There is a way to do it. To like fix where the anchor is. Anyone know how to do that? I'm sure there is a way to do it. How do you make the anchor where it should be? Also, the terrain I need to lock. I feel like I want to lock all of that now. Lock. So I don't accidentally select something that I don't want to. But that's fine, but I want that. I want to select the whole thing, and I want the anchor to be... I don't know what that means. Godot change anchor for node. The toolbar's anchor menu. Where the hell's the anchor thing? It says use the toolbar's anchor menu. Where the hell's that? How do you do this? Battlefield 6 portal set anchor. For node 3D. Found a Reddit post. I don't know how to. I don't know how to do this. I want that anchor to not be there. Is there maybe there's like a anchor? Node 3D. No, I don't care about that. No. I want to change the anchor point, that's it. Anchor. Like that, right, so there's an anchor. If I move this, it moves it in crazy ways. That's because the anchor's in a stupid place. Godot center transform anchor. Press the green circle button at the top toolbar to edit thing. Ah, here. No, that's not that. Nope, that's not what I want. Nope, don't want that. Nope. Don't know why that's that. So none of that helps. Press the green circle at the top toolbar. What green circle? I honestly don't understand. What nodes are in the fort? No, it's just all these barriers. It's just all these barriers. Beep, 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 beep. They're all there. They're all there. It's just, it always makes this box that's like way bigger than what you need. And it's like, it's set the anchor point at the like... It's set the anchor point at the like the bottom of this corner. It's like, it's drawn a box from the origin point to this. I just want it to be this. I don't understand. I just want it to be like, say if I select all of these like that, there we go, see, perfect, I can do it, which is fine, like that's all fine. If I selected, why is that? Okay, if I do, is there a way to select all of it? If I do that and then that, no. I don't even know if there's a way to just select everything within it, really. Oh, Reddit's gone all freaky. Oh, is it because... I know why it is. It's because it's... It's because it's connected to MP tungsten. I don't want it to be connected to that. That's why. What do you mean it's set to the incorrect scale? No, it's because it's parented. That's why. I think. I don't know how to take it out of that. Instantiate child scene. I don't know what that means. Like, this MP tungsten has that as its origin. And if I click that, it's like drawing a box from the origin to the edge of this, and I don't want that. But I don't know how to do it differently, unless I make another node inside here and put all of these in here, maybe. Let's try that. If I put another node inside here, and then put all of these inside that. No, it still does the same thing! No. Oh, I thought it was smart. I wasn't. I don't know how to do this. That doesn't work. If I make it bigger, it's just ruined it. Don't want to do that. Why are you inheriting? Why is it inheriting that from that? I don't know. I don't know how to do it. And I don't know how to just auto-select everything in a node. That doesn't work. Godot, select all within node 3D. Reddit's just not working for me. I just want to select everything in there. I just want to grab all of. Don't want that. Don't want that. Anyway, right, let's select this. All of these not working. Why are half of them separate like that? Why is that a thing? Why have they separated? Who knows? What is that? Why am I grabbing? No. This is so weird. Oh, really? That's not what I want, is it? That's not what I want. Like, I don't know why. Right, so if I do all of this, trying to keep this organized is a nightmare. Turns out game development stuff is hard. But anyway, so if I do that, and then what can I put on top of that that I want to be destructible? So I want another layer of this that is now possible to destroy. Are containers destructible? I don't know. Wall. See, that's got some weirdness about it. Okay, so this one. If I put that there, and then there's so much weirdness that I just don't understand about it, about how you place things and so if I just put that there and then right, so my idea is, will this now be destructible, the top part of it? So let's try saving this. I need to go back and close that. And then, oh, I need another. Great, and then I need that to be 4 wall top. There you go. Right, so the idea is that this should be sticking out and you should be able to destroy it. So now I can go back and... Oh, I didn't actually make the collision thing again, so that's fine. I should just be able to save it. There we go. Then go back to this. Then remove that. Attach that. Save it. Load it up again. Let's see what it looks like. AWS is back up now. Imagine like whatever problem they had, how did they manage to fix it that quickly? That's crazy, isn't it? Right, I'm gonna be an engineer because I want an RPG. Oh, but I also want to be... I also want to have ladder. So actually I'm going to have a breaching tool and a ladder. Yeah, that'll do. Look at that wall! Why is there 2 A's? I don't know. I accidentally duplicated it at some point. Been down since 5 AM, really? Look at this wall. So the idea is that you'd be rushing up to attack this and you'd be like, oh, I need to fight it, I need to like do something. And then like it's a bit too high for you to climb up, but you could use a breaching device and be like, ah, see, these walls can't be destroyed, this is the problem. That's what I need, something that's destructible for it. But my idea is that then people will have to use ladders to climb up. This isn't aligned very well. And then would be able to... And then have like a wall that you have to break down to get through there. That's my dream. And then behind it, there'll be towers of people who are shooting. And look, we've got it so if you do you can't get under it, so that's good. I think the wall is good. The top bit, it just isn't like, it's not aligned quite right. It needs to be rotated a tiny bit. And then I need, you know, obviously I need to build it out of something else because that doesn't work, I don't think. Let's redeploy and just double check with an RPG. It is impenetrable. I don't know. Oh, it's chucking it down. I don't know whether you can make destructible things in this. I don't know. But this has been a pretty cool start, hasn't it? Like, we got objectives working, we got a win condition working, we've worked out how to move spawns, how to move the map bounds, how to put objects into the game that work. See, I don't think... Yeah, I think that's indestructible. Bloody hell. Why are you indestructible? And there's gaps there, which would be bad. Little cracks. Maybe that's more realistic, I don't know. Why is there just one gap there? That's kind of annoying. It wouldn't be too hard to fix it, but still. Well, that's interesting. It didn't make me connect to it as a ladder. But yeah, sadly, this wall is indestructible. But that's a problem that we can get around. Hi. So, I feel like I've learned a lot. There's still a lot of things that I don't understand. There's a lot of things that I haven't been able to do. But we have learned a lot. And I will try and do more tomorrow. We'll do more tomorrow. We'll learn more. We'll make... I think I'll actually work. Tomorrow, my main thing will be trying to build the structure of the fort. We'll do that as best we can and see how it goes. But thank you very much, everyone, that's been watching.